Did you know that Ohio has more astronauts than any other state? That hidden beneath its farmlands are ancient earthworks built over 2,000 years ago. And one Ohio river was so polluted it literally caught fire. Ohio isn't just the heart of America. Its underground rivers, mysterious ancient monuments, and geological forces shaped a continent. If you love discovering hidden geography wonders, hit that subscribe button, because today we're counting down 20 Ohio facts. And by number 1, you'll see the Buckeye State completely differently. The final facts will show you why. At number 20, Lake Erie has more shipwrecks than any other Great Lake, with over 1,400 known wrecks lying on the bottom. The shallow depth and sudden violent storms make it incredibly dangerous for ships. During the 1800s and early 1900s, dozens of wooden cargo ships sank every year during winter storms. Some wrecks are so well preserved in the cold freshwater that divers can still see ships' names painted on the hulls. Number 19. Lake Erie is the shallowest Great Lake, with an average depth of just 19 meters. This makes it warm quickly in the summer, perfect for swimming. But it also freezes almost completely in harsh winters. In 2014, ice covered 95% of the lake's surface, trapping ships and cutting off coastal towns for weeks. At number 18, Kelly's Island in Lake Erie has some of the world's best preserved glacial grooves. These massive scratches were carved into limestone by glaciers during the Ice Age 18,000 years ago. The grooves are up to 4.5 meters deep, 10 meters wide, and stretch over 120 meters. They prove that ice over a mile thick once covered all of Ohio. Number 17. Ohio sits on the Cincinnati Arch, one of North America's most important geological features. This massive underground dome of rock has been pushing upward for over 450 million years. The arch forces rivers to bend around it, which is why the Scioto and Miami rivers flow in the directions they do. Early settlers built cities along these routes without knowing a massive rock dome was guiding everything underground. Number 16. Ohio is home to the world's first electric traffic light, installed in Cleveland in 1914. At the time, cars were becoming more common, and busy intersections were turning into total chaos. The original traffic light only used red and green lights, and even had a loud buzzer to warn drivers when the signal was about to change. People thought it was strange at first, but it worked so well that other cities quickly copied the idea. Every modern traffic light you see today traces its roots back to that Cleveland invention. Number 15. Ohio's nickname comes from the Buckeye tree, which produces nuts that look like a deer's eyes. Early settlers noticed these trees everywhere. The nuts are poisonous, but were carried as good luck charms. Buckeye trees are rare now because most of Ohio's original forest was cleared for farming. Less than 10% of the original forest remains today. At number 14, Ohio's highest point is Campbell Hill, just 472 meters above sea level. It's so unimpressive that most people just drive by without noticing. There's just a small plaque and a marker. Ohio's flat because glaciers repeatedly scraped across the landscape, grinding down mountains and filling valleys. Number 13. Ohio has more golf courses per capita than almost any other state. The climate's perfect for growing grass. Ohio gets enough rain to keep courses green without excessive irrigation. The flat terrain makes building courses easy, and numerous rivers provide natural water hazards. Ohio has over 700 courses statewide. At number 12, the Ohio River forms the entire southern border. But here's the twist: the river doesn't belong to Ohio. Legal boundaries from the 1700s give the entire river to West Virginia and Kentucky. Ohio's border stops at the low water mark on the northern shore. If you're floating in the middle of the Ohio River, you're not technically in Ohio. Number 11. Hocking Hills State Park contains massive sandstone cliffs rising over 60 meters high. The sandstone formed 350 million years ago when this region was covered by an inland sea. Rivers carved through soft rock, creating waterfalls, caves, and natural bridges. The rock walls are so sheer they look artificial, but they're entirely natural. Now, before we get to the top 10 facts that show you why Ohio is hiding something extraordinary, remember to subscribe and hit that bell. These final facts will blow your mind. At number 10, Ohio averages about 19 tornadoes per year. The state sits in a secondary tornado alley where flat farmlands create perfect conditions for severe storms. When the warm air from the Gulf collides with cold Canadian air, tornadoes can develop quickly. The deadliest Ohio tornado struck Lorraine in Sandusky in 1924, killing 85 people. Number 9. The Toledo Strip. It's a narrow piece of land that Michigan and Ohio nearly went to war over in the 1830s. Militia groups from both states marched to the border and shots were fired. The federal government gave the Toledo Strip to Ohio as a compromise. Michigan got the entire Upper Peninsula instead, which turned out better because of all the copper and iron ore discovered there. At number 8, Ohio sits at the intersection of 3 major climate zones. The north gets cold air from Canada, the south gets humid air from the Gulf, and the west brings dry continental air. When these air masses collide, you can have a sunny morning and thunderstorms by afternoon. This mixing of climates also gives Ohio incredibly diverse plant and animal life. Number 7. Cuyahoga Valley is Ohio's only national park. In the 1970s, developers planned to build a highway through the valley. Local residents fought back, and it was protected as a national recreation area in 1974. Then upgraded to a full national park in 2000. The park preserves 33,000 acres of forest and wetlands. At number 6, Ohio has the world's largest Amish population, with over 80,000 Amish people living mostly in Holmes County. They settled here in the early 1800s because land was cheap and fertile. They live without electricity, cars, or modern technology, farming like their ancestors did 200 years ago. Their small farms stand out as a patchwork that looks like scenes from the 1800s. At number 5, Ohio has rivers that literally disappear into the ground. Streams flow normally, then suddenly vanish into cracks in limestone bedrock. The water travels through underground channels carved over thousands of years, sometimes resurfacing miles away. Early settlers were baffled by these disappearing streams. Ohio sits on massive limestone layers, and over millennia, slightly acidic rainwater dissolved the rock, creating vast underground river systems that most people never see. It's one of the most mysterious geological features you can witness. Number 4. Ohio has its own desert. The Kitty Todd Nature Preserve near Toledo contains sand dunes that look completely out of place in the Midwest. These dunes were formed after the Ice Age, when glacial meltwater deposited massive amounts of sand. Strong winds created the dunes that remain today. The preserve is home to rare plants and animals that normally live in much drier climates. It's a tiny ecological island that seems impossible in Ohio. At number 3, Ohio is home to Serpent Mound, one of North America's most mysterious ancient structures. This massive earthwork, shaped like a giant snake, stretches over 411 meters long. The serpent's mouth appears to be swallowing an oval shape. Built over 1,000 years ago, nobody knows its exact purpose. Some think it was used for astronomical observations because the head points towards the summer solstice sunset. The builders left no written language and no records, so the meaning of the serpent may be lost forever. Number 2. The Great Black Swamp once covered over 4,000 square kilometers of northwestern Ohio. This impenetrable forest swamp was called the most miserable place in America. Trees grew so thick that sunlight barely reached the ground. Mosquitoes spread malaria and yellow fever. Wagons would sink up to their axles in mud. For decades, the swamp stopped westward expansion completely. Then, in the late 1800s, settlers began one of the largest drainage projects in American history. They dug thousands of miles of drainage ditches and cut down every tree. By 1900, the Great Black Swamp was completely gone, transformed into some of the richest farmland in the United States. It's one of the most massive environmental transformations in American history. At number 1. In 1969, the Cuyahoga River was so polluted with industrial waste that it literally caught fire. Witnesses reported flames reaching 5 stories high before firefighters controlled it in about 20 minutes. But here's why this is the most impactful fact on our list. That single incident shocked the entire nation and sparked the modern environmental movement. It directly led to the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency and the Clean Water Act. One river catching fire changed environmental policy forever. Today, the Cuyahoga River runs clean through parks and cities, a symbol of what's possible when we decide to fix our mistakes. From ancient earthworks to disappearing rivers, Ohio's geography tells stories of ice ages, underground formations, and thousands of years of human history. Which fact surprised you the most? Drop a comment below. And if you want more amazing geography facts about states you thought you knew, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you in the next one.